Hey everybody, welcome to the channel 7S26 Simon. Today I'm going to talk you through HackSudo Aliens. This is a really interesting box by Vishal. I enjoyed it, I really did. It's actually, he says this is an easy box. I beg to differ. I kind of felt this was a little bit more, I don't know, maybe heading towards medium. Maybe I just feel that way because it took me a while to root this one. The actual root was quite easy, but finding the initial foothold took a little bit of time. So here goes. I hope you enjoy this one. So we're going to start out with just a basic nmap, and we should come back and see that this particular box, once it's finished scanning, it should come back with a port that stands out. So the port that stands out is port 9000. So we're going to take a look here. And we can start to see that there's an empty HackSudo database. In the MySQL database, there's a user, a table. I did crack all of the passwords. They're all crackable. These two are actually the same password. And I think that, oh no, is that the same? Yeah, I think that the root password and Vishal password are exactly the same as well. So quite easy to crack, just use a basic password. Cracker should probably get those. Okay, next up, I decided to go ahead and run a SQL command, which was this one here. So I wanted to create the following. Create a database entry, or should I say select. We're creating a backdoor.php. Important that you change this to the location of the file server where the rest of the files are. So let's go ahead and hit go. Now the error is because it already exists. Obviously I have got past this machine already. So all I want to do is just go to backdoor, and you can see that there's nothing on the screen. That's because what we need to do is use our newly found command injection. So we can do ADDR. You know, we can get various bits of information back. You know, from the system. So hey, great, there's a vulnerability here. What we can actually also do is we can go ahead and tell this to connect to our local machine. So let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, we are running as www data. The next step was to go ahead and actually figure out where to go next, what files this is potentially vulnerable to. And what I actually did with this, if I just delete that, I did a rw rl wrap, and if I just go back to the back door, run that again. The next thing I did was, let me just pull up my notes. I actually did this, which is quite useful. So user bin script qc, and then I did a bin bash dev null, and you can see that brings a little bit of clarity as to where we are in the system. Okay, so if we do an ls, we can see that we are in the HTML file. We can see the back door. We can see all sorts of files really. So what we now need to do is we need to do a search, and we need to pull up suid files find. We can run this command here. I'm not going to put them into a temp file, but we can run this file here. So let's do this. Let's copy and paste that into the system. Okay, and this comes up with some really interesting information. Most importantly, it comes up with this date file, which we need to use. So if we look at some vulnerabilities with date, we can see that it's potentially vulnerable to this style of attack. So if we do lfile equals etc. shadow, and then we just simply run let's run date -f $L file, and you can see that comes back with some rather useful information. We can then use that information to actually crack that password. Now I'm just going to pause the video while I switch user over to HackSudo, because I don't want to give away this for anyone who wants, no spoilers. Okay, so there we are. So you can now see that we are running as HackSudo. I just did a switch user command. Okay, so now next step is we need to go to the desktop. And if we just do a cat, we can find the first of the two flags. Next up, we need to try and escalate privileges. So we can see here, there's some interesting files in the download. CPU limit is the most interesting. It's got the SUID bit set, the special bit, it's running as root, and it's world readable, world writable. So that sounds pretty dangerous to me. So what we can then do is we can run this command. Notice that we have -p because -p, sometimes if you're on a system like Debian, it says here that the shell might run with SUID privileges and it might not. In this case, we do actually need the -p, otherwise we're not going to maintain that those privileges. Okay, so you can see instantly we've changed. We've got a new process ID. You can see our EUID, which is effective user ID, and effective group ID is root. And if you do a who am I, we are root. Let's cd over to root, and then here ls. You can see the flag. So there you go, guys. Thank you for checking this one out. A thank you to a friend, alienum, who was able to help me just figure out exactly where to get the foothold, because there's a couple of rabbit holes on this machine, and if you're not careful, you will fall down them. I'll just give you one super fast example of a rabbit hole. If we go to home, cd HackSudo, cd aliens 51. Now, I don't know, maybe there's another way you can do this, but I spent a long time looking in here as well. So yeah, just be careful of rabbit holes. But yeah, that is the system complete. So again, thank you for watching. Thanks again, Vishal, for the box, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.